Good evening, everyone, and thank you for participating in the City Council regular meeting of Monday. I know it's not July, today is September 27th. And I will have our Madam Clerk call to order the meeting or do the roll call. And as you already know, I'm sure everybody's familiar with this, that every member of the council, actually every member that's on camera will let us know or let the audience know what city and state and county that you are dialing in from. So Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Yes. Roll call, Mayor Garrett.
Present, Lathrup Village, Michigan, Oakland County.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Present, Lathrop Village, Oakland County, Michigan.
Councilmember Ferguson. Councilmember Ferguson. Councilmember Medley.
Oldfield, Suffolk County, New York.
And Councilmember Siddiqui.
Here, Lathrop Village, Oakland County, Michigan.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I invite everyone to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't have a flag right now, but if you know where one is, face that way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the
Republic,
which
for
is
which it stands,
one
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible.
with
liberty
liberty and justice
and justice
for
for
all.
all.
Thank you. I would take a motion of someone approving the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion around the agenda? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Ferguson.
yes.
Mayor Garrett.
I think Ian also needs to report where he's calling from too.
Present, Lathrop Village, Oakland County.
Yes, thank you. And Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Medley.
Yes.
And Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Motion carried for approval of agenda.
Thank you. We have a presentation, proclamation of Constitution Week. Madam City Manager, may I introduce that?
Thank you. We received the invitation to participate in this from Diane in regards to the declaration of September 17th to the 23rd, 2021 as Constitution Week. And I do believe Diane is here in regards to that, if she wants to make some brief comments.
Well, yes, I would. And thank you very much. I don't know what's with the camera thing, so I'll just go on. The week of the 17th to the 23rd every year is considered Constitution Week. That was signed into law by President Eisenhower in 1956. And I have been doing this job for the Three Flags chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, which is the Lathrup Village DAR, established in Lathrup Village in November of 1939 at the home of Mrs. O.C. Davison of Sunnybrook in Lathrop. We consider it very important that we promote an understanding of the Constitution, particularly in light of the things that have gone on this past year, starting with the events of the 6th of January, which are disturbing indeed. And it's hopeful that by promoting an understanding of the Constitution and what it is, that we'll be able to have a more enlightened citizenry, and we won't get the kind of things that have been going on this year, which I think are most unfortunate. I say we picked this week starting on the 17th every year because that's the date that the Constitution was actually signed into being by the delegates to the Constitutional Convention, and it was sent to the states for ratification, which took place in June of 1788, when New Hampshire became the 9th state to ratify the document. And it's a very important document, and I'd like to read the letter of appreciation that we have for Mayor Garrett and the rest of you, which outlines why we think it's an important week. On behalf of the Three Flags chapter of the DAR, I'd like to thank you for your efforts and that of the City of Lathrop Village in honoring Constitution Week 2021. Your proclamation for the celebration of Constitution Week is greatly appreciated by the Three Flags chapter of the DAR. Our U.S. Constitution is a very special document, not only for the citizens of the United States, but for citizens of the world. Ours is the first written constitution and has provided a model for nations around the world when creating constitutions of their own. Our Constitution is not a perfect document. Our founding fathers were men of vision who understood that a constitution must be a living document. They therefore provided for an amendment process to remedy imperfections, and they began this process of improvement with the adoption of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. It is important today, perhaps more so than ever before, to celebrate these values, and in doing so, to keep the Constitution a living document. And your recognition of Constitution Week is a part of that process. If I was on camera, I would hold up for you the certificate of appreciation, but since I'm not, I will bring these things into City Hall this week. And again, thank you very much. And if there's any questions I can answer for you, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Well, thank you, Diane, for letting us know about that and participating in it. I appreciate it.
I'm hopeful that next year, perhaps when I'm in this job a bit more than 2 weeks, that we might be able actually in Lathrop to organize some sort of event during Constitution Week for the public.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank
Good
you.
idea. Thanks, Diane. Really appreciate it.
Well, I will leave the meeting then and wish you all well.
You have a
Thank
good.
you.
Next, we will look for a motion for the consent agenda. These are all the items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the city council and be approved in one motion. Who would like to make the motion? Unless
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll
Second.
second.
it's been moved in second. Is there anyone that has a discussion concern? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Medley,
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
and Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. My page again, so I just gotta figure out how to get to it. Okay. Next is the disbursements reports.
So do we need to do them? I assume we need to do them separately. The one for July and the one for August. Yeah, seeing a head shake. So, all right, so I'll make a motion to approve the July disbursement reports for a total of $1,261,805.74, comprised of approximately $489,000 out of the general fund, $232,000 out of the major road fund, $239,000 out of the local road fund, about $1,200 out of the capital fund, $30,000 out of the DDA fund, and then $270,000 out of the water and sewer fund.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Medley,
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
and Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Motion carried for approval of the July 2021 disbursement report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up are the department reports.
No, I think we got to do the August.
do August.
report.
And that's on page 65 of your packet.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the August disbursement report for a total of $1,012,267.17. Again, comprised of about $286,000 from the general fund, $135,000 for major roads, $142,000 for local roads, about $7,000 for the capital fund, $44,000 for the DDA fund, and just under $400,000 for the water and sewer fund.
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Medley,
yes,
Councilmember Siddiqui,
yes,
Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes,
and Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Motion carried for the disbursement report for August 2021.
thank you. Now, department reports.
I'll make a motion to approve the department reports.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Siddiqui,
yes,
Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
and Councilmember Medley.
yes,
Motion carried. Approval of the department reports.
Thank you. Next up is the public comments for items on the agenda. And this is where it's obviously public comments, and you may speak up to 3 minutes. If there's anyone that would like to speak regarding something that's on the agenda tonight, please do so now.
There are no hand raised for public comment.
Thank you. Is there anyone that is in our listening audience that would like to say anything for 3 minutes that has to do with something on the agenda? Okay, move on. Next up is actions for action requests and for consideration of approval. The first one is the RFP realtor contract, House in the Woods property.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. If you recall, earlier this year, I think February, we had issued the contract for the realtor for the property commonly known as House in the Woods at 19,600 Forest Drive. We had contracted with the realtor Lennon Associates, and the actual agent was Natasha Hughes for, I think it was about 6 months, and that has expired. We had the presentation from them at the last meeting, and council made the determination to reissue the RFP in regards to that. And I asked if there were any additional suggestions relative to the formatting of that RFP. And the one suggestion I did receive from council member Ferguson was relative to making certain that the marketing plan was identified as a component part of the scoring. So that has been incorporated and the dates updated. And I believe the date for, assuming that we move forward, the date for the responses is November 1st.
Thank you.
And I also want to mention, there was a comment made at the last meeting in regards to references to insurance requirements, and that had been taken out from the last RFP. So that language is not included in this one as well.
Oh, okay. So anyone have any questions or concerns? Some discussion? And if not, would you like to go ahead and make a motion for this?
I can make a motion to approve the issuance of the RFP for real estate services for the property at 19,600 Forest Drive, Lathrup Village, Michigan, 48076, also known as the House in the Woods property.
Second.
Second. Oh, sorry.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion surrounding this? Hearing none. Roll call.
Just a quick question. What's the what was the duration on the last RFP that we sent out? Did it linger out there for some time? And do we anticipate we're going to have the same level of timeliness on this RFP?
Well, didn't you say it was November? Did you say it was November 1st?
Right.
Which is I think about the same as what we did last time, which was about a
Yeah.
month.
November 1st, you said? You were breaking up.
Yeah, she said November 1st.
Okay.
Any further questions? All right, roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Medley,
Yes.
and Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next, we have up, I'm trying to learn how to do this meeting code. Enter.
It's page 167 of your packet. You have the packet up.
I'm flipping back and forth to the agenda, and so that's what makes it, I'm staying all online, no paper.
All
So,
right.
next we have the DDA and Special Projects Manager duties.
Well, Mayor and council members, if you recall, Chris had the unmitigated gall to pursue his life dreams and ambitions and become basically a history teacher and professional. So we wish him well, and he's sorely missed. But in regards to assuming the responsibilities for many of the duties that he held, we are currently redistributing with existing staff, as well as have entering into a conversation with the city of Southfield for some of the enrichment programs. So this is the first component part of that, and that would be expanding the role of Corey Dahl, who is the DDA manager and special projects manager. Currently, we have a cost share agreement with the DDA in regards to her position. The DDA is assuming 90%, the city 10%, so that we're having a transfer of the funds because they also supported the recreation position as well. So they'll have a shifting of funds within their budget, and we're asking for council to do similarly, and that transfer would amount to about $4,000 relative to this position.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the extended role for the DDA and Special Projects Manager and cost share agreement with the DDA.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion regarding this? No comments. All right, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Medley,
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
and Councilmember Ferguson.
No.
Motion carried.
City Administrator report.
Thank you. It still hasn't slowed down around here, so we're plugging along. We're very excited that we received the announcement from Senator Moss and Representative Bolden that we received a special appropriation for the stormwater program in the amount of $300,000. That was an item that was on our capital improvement plan. So that would allow us to go forward with the televising of the stormwater system, which was a project that did not have clearly identified funding. It was something we needed to do, so that makes it possible for us to move forward with that. So we thank them tremendously for making those funds available to us. And also I want to mention that Representative Bolden is planning to come. She comes quarterly, so I think she's coming to our November meeting, so that you can thank her in person at that meeting. Also, we had a meeting today with representatives from MDOT as we're closing out the bikeway finding project. They did identify a few of the road markings that have deteriorated due to the traffic, especially the truck traffic. So those will be addressed. Also, I wanted to let you know that the lead and copper program, we're entering into the second round of the remediation, and that's through our contract with SACWA for using D'Angelo Brothers for the replacement of those water service lines. We have approximately, I think it's 11 properties and maybe 10 properties. We have to check on all of them, but at least 10 to 11 properties, and that work will be done October 19th through the 21st. So that'll be the second round of those remediations for the lead and copper replacements.
Carol?
Yes.
So that really hasn't changed much since the beginning of the spring. That's still the same ones that we identified up front?
No, those are done. The
Okay.
first round are done.
So these are new
Yes,
identifications.
yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think one is a carry-on over. They came on late, so they decided to roll it over to the next round. But essentially, yes.
yeah, well, the number was the same, which is why I was confused.
Right.
So,
No,
yeah,
'cause
okay, thanks.
entirely new addresses.
Yeah.
So we're scheduling those now. So any residents who might be watching and they received the letter, this is what it's in regards to, and now we just need to get them scheduled so we can move forward with those replacements. Had a meeting today with the Oakland County Water Resources Commissioners, staff in regards to the Evergreen Farmington Sanitary District. They did receive the sign off, so that sanitary district is now established relative to the ongoing correction action plans for the region, I guess you would call it. And that includes the updates to our tank. So we'll be looking forward to moving forward with that project as well in the near future. They did note that we did have 2 wet weather events, one last week and one September 22nd. So we're having a still unusually high amount of wet weather, which is classified as having 5 inches of rain or more. So we're still exceptionally wet. And I know that Pam in particular is very glad not to have those alarms going off with her at 3 in the morning. So we're still partnering with Oakland County in regards to the monitoring of the system, as well as those upgrades. And in regards to the election, we do have an election specialist working with us, Angie, and she's in the office part-time and things are going smoothly. And we're just taking care of business. The applications have gone out and the ballots have gone out and they're starting to roll back in. So thank you for everyone for participating in the process. Yeah.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. City Attorney?
Nothing for me tonight.
Okay. Reports of boards, commissions, and committees. I am assuming because the election commission minutes are here, that is someone going to talk to the election commission, or if you want to. Any boards, commissions, and committees? Any reports?
I just included that the election commission is going to have their regular meeting in which they appoint some of the staff that supports that process. You don't need to appoint anyone to serve on it this time, which we usually do at this meeting. But since we had the minutes and since there was a lot of interest in regards to what was happening, I just included those in your agenda packet as well.
And Cheryl, the minutes, there's an error there because there's fall of 20, it was September 20th or September 28th in 2020 that was included, and it actually should have been, I think, September 3rd and September 8th of 2021 that should be included.
Yvette, correct me, but are these actually the minutes from 2020?
They're actually the minutes from 2020, Councilmember Medley, that we did yet last year. Normally we have the election commission meetings once a year or once before each election, but this time we've already had 2.
So should we
prior
also,
meeting-
since there were 2
Mhm.
in September 3rd and September 8th, should we include both of those as well as the September 28th of 20?
We can. I know that the 23rd was approved on September 3rd, and September 3rd meeting minutes were approved on the 8th at that meeting. But we can always include them, sure, yes.
Have we not approved the September 28th of 2020 minutes previously?
Nope, no.
Okay, so
No.
all right. So
Yeah.
they were, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, that helps.
Yeah, I know that it's confusing, I'm sorry.
No, I just needed to learn. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, thank you.
Yeah, nothing from the planning commission. Our meeting was canceled the other day. And then as far as the infrastructure committee goes, I will be pulling together a meeting probably in the next month or so, just to review the projects from this past summer and look at how costs came in and so forth. And then we'll probably start the initial discussions on the 2023 road selection process, at least just kicking that off to some extent. So I will have more information when that when we start pulling that together. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any unfinished or new business?
Is it for council or just in general?
Unfinished and new business, I would assume.
Yeah, just unfinished business. This is directed to Scott Baker. So at the last meeting, we were discussing the marijuana businesses and the security aspect of it and scoring. And I believe I forwarded some information to you. I'm not sure if you were able to review it. And what's your opinion on the scoring regarding, not scoring, but the security aspect of those businesses?
Yeah, I did take a look at that information that you forwarded. So first off, our standards are not just the bare minimum that was referenced in there. Our standards are higher than what is required. But yeah, it is something that I think that Jill, Susie, and Cheryl and I will talk about when we do meet again for the scoring, to update that, potentially including it back in there.
Okay, can you share with the rest of the council people? I didn't put that in my statement, but I was hoping that they would be able to see that as well.
People to see
the email I sent to you and your response, or the review afterwards.
Oh, well, and basically the email said that we should include scoring, and just to summarize, include the scoring or include the security plan as part of the scoring, because the minimums in the state standard, the state ordinance do not, in the opinion of the author, do not adequately protect the community or ensure that the security systems are going to be operated properly, or they're going to be functioning properly, so that we should encourage a higher standard by scoring their security plan. This was, in essence, what the author of that email had indicated. Like I said, our ordinance does not doesn't just adopt the state minimum. So we do have higher standards built into our ordinance as far as the security plan goes, but as I stated, we haven't ruled out counting it in the scoring. And obviously, if an applicant goes above and beyond in the security plan aspect, that's something that potentially they could be rewarded for.
Appreciate that. I was on mute. Appreciate it. The other question I have, this is for Bruce. So we are still going through the fire hydrant replacement, and along Lathrup Boulevard, there's been obviously some excavation to put in the new piping. We're pretty much running out of warm weather in the next couple months. Is there any plan to actually repave that section of road? Because it's just layered over with dirt.
Well, I think what you're referring to is the water main replacements on Wiltshire and San Rosa. Is that right, Cheryl?
Yeah, it's Wiltshire Boulevard, right at Lathrup Boulevard. And then also, I think that's a Villa and Lathrup Boulevard, just 2 blocks down. Was it a Villa or San Rosa? San Rosa.
San Rosa, right.
San Rosa, sorry.
So we had hoped that, we talked about this in the spring, we had hoped that we would be able to repave their roads in the fall after the water mains were done, but just in the sequence of events and the way that it occurred, we were not able to. The paving ASI is pretty much out of here. They got their stuff done quicker than we expected, and so they couldn't just hang around and keep all their equipment mobilized without billing us for it. So they are gone, and we'll do it in the spring, or part of next summer's road. Hopefully, again, same thing with Golden Gate next year. So Golden Gate is scheduled to get a new water main in 2022. And again, our hope is that we'll be able to pave their road in 2022, because obviously it'll need to be repaved after the water main as well. Although there's no guarantee that'll happen. It might happen as part of the 2023 program. It just depends on the sequence of events and how quickly or slowly the contractor moves, since we usually do the water mains at, projects. The Sunday is doing a lot of our projects, so they only have so many resources, is what I'm trying to say. So
Right. So I bring it up because the biggest concern I have is when winter is upon us, not among us, but upon us.
Both.
That area, because we have to plow that area, and there are divots there right now. So my concern is it's going to probably degrade the asphalt. And so maybe we should talk to Scott Wrangler to find out if that's going to be an issue, because you can't really pick up the plow and move over that. That's
right.
They're just going to plow and be efficient.
Cheryl, Susie, do you remember? I know we had some discussion of, I don't remember where we landed, but we did have some discussion of putting a little bit of an asphalt cover over that spot where the water main was replaced as a temporary patch until it does get repaved. Do you remember where we landed on that?
I do not. I know Scott's out of town, but I can ask him when he gets back, or I can reach out to Andy and find out about that. I know I did meet with both of them last week, and Scott did say he would like to have Buster do both the water main on Golden Gate in the spring and then immediately pave it out. So I think he was planning to talk to the infrastructure committee about that recommendation, but
yeah, because I remember in our infrastructure meetings, we talked about, when we initially talked about trying to pave Wiltshire and Santa Rosa this summer. The part of the idea of doing that was so that we didn't have to lay some asphalt down and then have to pull it up, so it was an extra expense. So I think that's why we were really hoping to hustle and be able to get it paved this year, but that didn't happen. So I don't know what Scott's plans are. So Susie, if you could follow up with us in terms of whether the plan is to put any asphalt down there or not, or whether or not the plowers are just going to have to be careful during the upcoming winter until we get it paved next spring, summer.
Yeah, because what we're seeing now is based on the rains, we have a degrading area. That area has been degraded totally.
Yeah, and
it's washed out. So that's a big concern leading up to November, December.
All right. Yeah, Ian, since you brought up cannabis, I just want to go back to it for 1 second, because in my canvassing has been some confusion, and I think a little bit of it, I think our town, I think combining with what some people are saying, is along with what was in our town, I think some people are confused about the number of licenses associated with cannabis. I know we even had some confusion when we first started talking about it among council. So for people that are watching, I just want to make sure they understand that the ordinance does not allow for six provisioning centers. It allows for 2. It's a little confusing because we are allowing a single facility to sell target both the recreational and medicinal markets. So one facility could potentially have 2 licenses, but it is still only 1 brick and mortar building. So we have 2 brick and mortar buildings. So there are 4 licenses available, but it's only 2 physical provisioning centers. And the other 2 licenses are for testing facilities. Testing facilities are like medical labs. So there's no customers. There's no cash going back and forth. They only have trace amounts of product from the growers that they're testing for impurities and contaminants and so forth. So it's almost like you probably wouldn't even know they were there, kind of thing. So there are only 2 provisioning centers that we're allowing under the ordinance. So just wanted to make that clear for anybody who was confused, because I've had several people say, well, why is the city allowing 6 provisioning centers to open up? We're going to become like 8 Mile, and that's specifically what we did not want to do, which is why we limited it to just 2.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
Any other new business or unfinished business?
Are we discussing the candidate forum at all? I mean, I think we're trying to finalize that somewhere, right?
It's not ours to finalize. Was sent to us that we were asked to have a candidate forum here.
Okay.
Saturday. I don't know if that's considered unfinished or new business. It's up to you all when you would like to discuss that.
Yeah, why not?
Well, don't we have public comment before the council
Yeah.
comments?
Well, that's what I'm asking. That was my question. So my question was, would that be considered unfinished business, new business, or?
New business.
So it is considered new business to you. So then go ahead and discuss it.
Okay. Well, apparently there's going to be a candidate forum on the 2nd, which is this Saturday, from 6 to 9 p.m. in the park. Why is everyone shaking their head?
3
Oh, that is
p.m.
at 3 p.m.
Well, I saw
Right.
the application I signed said 6 to 9, so you might want to double check that.
What application?
There's the application that I signed to activate the.
Oh, okay. I got what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
So,
so there's a form that you have to fill out. I was the one that actually filled that out. So that time may need to be adjusted. So we might want to look at that. So it's from 3 to what?
I think it's 3 to 4, 3 to 5.
Okay. All right. Are we putting that up on the website?
That would have to go to Cheryl.
Okay.
Cheryl.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, we can assist with publicizing that through our usual media, the website, e-newsletter, and the Facebook, if you'd like.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, that should work. All right.
Okay. Anything else with that?
No, I had one more, but can't find it. So if I find it, I'll let you know.
Okay. So now moving from new business, we'll do public comment. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak about anything, you have 2 minutes. Or is it 3 minutes? 2 minutes for the second one, 3 minutes for the first one. If there's anything that you would like to discuss, anyone like to make a public comment?
No hands are raised.
I just remembered.
Thank you. Anyone that would like to make a public comment? Anyone? Okay. The next one is the mayor and council comments. Yeah, that can't remember. So go ahead, Ian.
I just wanted to remind everyone that we're going to be doing the bike and barbecue on October 9th, Saturday, and that will consist of Corey. Corey is organizing. That will consist of those who are interested in riding Lathrup Village need to meet at the park in the morning around 11 o'clock, and we are going to take a tour of Lathrup and the wonderful roads that we have. So it's called Bike and Barbecue. And at the end of that, there will be barbecue. So if you are signed up by way of either Survey Monkey or something else, I think she's
Eventbrite.
there you go, Eventbrite. Please sign up and just ensure that you pay your $5 and your name is on the list, and we go from there.
And just to clarify, it's $5 if you want barbecue. If you would like to ride and join us for picnic lunch, but bring your own lunch, you are more than welcome to do that as well.
Yes.
Thank
you for the clarification.
No.
So what I wanted to bring up was the whole thing about speeding through the city. And I've even come to the point that we really have to do something different. I am in the mindset of, if there's something that is about to be done, or we're in the process of doing something, let it be played out. And I know that currently that Chief McKee is working on making some signs or putting some stop signs up. The one thing I wanted to bring up is that and you just might, because I see that the chief is he's still on here, I think, isn't he? Are you there?
Yeah, he's signed on.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm here. I
Oh.
missed what we were talking about.
I'm talking about the speeding, because on Santa Barbara,
Lost my
between,
audio. Sorry, I lost my audio.
no, you didn't, not in time.
Sorry, Mayor, can you repeat that again?
I was talking about the speeding on the main thoroughfares, going in and out the city, because I can tell you between 6:30 and 7 a.m. I don't even have to get up. I can hear it. It is that fast going down Santa Barbara. I mean, super fast. And I know that I've talked to Mayor Pro Tem Cantor about the
Speed bumps.
speed bumps.
Speed bumps.
Yeah, but I am to the point it's really rather scary over here, especially. And because there's no stop sign between Santa Barbara and Wilshire all the way to Bloomfield and Roseland.
Okay.
And so, just say that. So I was bringing up the fact about the speed bumps again, that for Santa Barbara, Bloomfield, and Lathrop. And I think Rainbow is the other one that I almost got hit on, but.
Rainbow Drive, the cut through from 11 Mile to Southfield. So there were lots of stop signs. There were 2 stop signs. Nobody paid attention. And the problem with the Rainbow and Meadowbrook intersection is there's no good place for one of our officers to sit and not be seen. So their physical presence is a huge deterrent, but it's easy to see long before you get to the intersection if they're there or not. And people just blow the stop sign like easily 30 to 50 miles an hour. They're just going through like nobody. And it's really bad. Kelly, right what you said, the 7 to 8 in the morning. And then usually from about 4:30, 4:45, all the way up till about 6 o'clock, because people want to cut through and avoid either having to hit Southfield when they're coming off 696, or they're trying to avoid the Southfield, intersection, and they're cutting through the other way. It's horrible. And I mean, y'all know, you heard me long and hard talk about speed bumps, and I know people don't like them, but they're inexpensive, cost-effective solutions that, people are like, oh, the damage it could do to a car. I'm like, let somebody bottom their car out on Rainbow once, and I bet they're not gonna speed. And the thing that I'm constantly amazed about is it's not people who don't live in Lathrup Village.
Right.
So there are cars, like I knocked on someone's door because I watched him speed through the intersection in his pickup truck. And I knocked on his door and I said, hey, quit running the stop sign. We're really not particularly close since then, but it's not people from other areas. It's our own residents who are doing it as well.
Right.
Yes.
And that's why, we asked, the chief to do what he can to, try to ensure that the officers are not giving warnings to residents. A lot of times what we've heard is that, they'll give, because they're residents, they'll give warnings, but it's the residents who are typically the problem. And I know
Right.
Scott was trying to do something about that, but
And
Scott and I
there's
had
a lot of kids who live right around that area.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's 2 basketball hoops and an above ground pool. And their kids moving. There's a kid who lives 2 doors down. They were all moving around constantly on bicycles and stuff, as kids should do in neighborhoods,
Yeah.
which is the reason, people choose Lathrop Village, and people are just blowing the stop signs like nobody's business.
Yeah, and I've gotten an earful of that while out canvassing the last 2 weeks, and I actually talked to Chief McKee this morning about it a little bit, and I guess Scott, maybe you can kind of illuminate kind of some of the stuff you were telling me this morning.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 officers on duty per shift maximum. At times, there's only 1. So we take all of the complaints, all the traffic complaints, and I get a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails. We try to post those hot spots for the officers. We move around the speed signs, And again, these guys try to hit these, these hot spots as they can with, between answering runs and doing regular patrol, and then, doing the normal things that we do with, shuttling scout cars around for maintenance, and there's just a gamut of things. So we try to do as much as we can with traffic enforcement. I will tell you, like I told Councilman Cantor, this has been a hot topic since I've been here for 25 years. It just doesn't stop. And I don't know, for some reason this year, it just seems like the traffic complaints are just at an all-time high. And I'll tell you, I mean, you get the logs of what we're doing and the traffic speeds. And when you actually look at the traffic speeds, they're really not that much of an issue. I mean, I think a lot of people see people driving in a car and their perception is they're speeding, and truly it's not. I mean, you can go back and look at all the traffic logs that we send you. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are speeders, but it's more on a random basis. It's not all the time. If you actually look at it, a majority of all the speeds we're capturing are well under the speed limit. So
And Chief McGee, I will say, as the person who has called and talked to you a lot about Rainbow Drive, I think that's really accurate when your officers are there. So because people are slowing down as they're seeing your officers, because I sat in my front living room window and I watched it repeatedly. And I think the other reason you're seeing an increase in complaints is people like me worked from home. And so I watched it day in.
Great
and day
point, by
out.
the way.
What?
Great point.
He's a great point. But Don, the one thing though, just when Scott is, and I agree, but one of the things Scott was talking about, the logs, those are the logs from the radar speed sign when their officers are not present. That's the data that he's referring to.
Yeah, but people are slowing down for those.
Right, it's still a deterrent. And so
Yeah, well, it's still definitely a deterrent, because that was one of the things I was gonna,
Yeah.
suggest. I mean, obviously, I mean, while we'd love to have additional officers, I don't think that's an expense that we can afford. But one thing that we might do, and I know they're expensive, but maybe we could look into or try to find some money to, purchase another one or two of those speed signs, because they do work as a deterrent.
But why don't we just put temporary speed bumps down that we can move? I mean, those are deterrents too. And I think they're cheaper, and I think in many ways more effective than a sign. If you put a radar gun that takes somebody's picture on the other side of that sign, I think that's a real deterrent.
Yeah.
But again, if it's about snow plows and speed bumps, other communities are able to manage that.
Yeah, I'll talk to Scott Ringler again. I know we talked briefly in our committee meetings about some of the movable non-permanent speed bumps, which I don't remember what his issue was with them, but he advises, and I've experienced this myself, strongly against the permanent ones. One, because they're kind of expensive. Two, they tend to break the plow blades. But the biggest reason is everyone thinks they're great unless there's one in front of your house, because they're loud. You hear every time the car goes by, you hear the bump bump. If you've got older vehicles with suspensions that aren't the greatest, you'll hear the when your trucks go over it sounds like something's exploding and so forth. So
I think
that
and I'm not saying negating that. I think that's minor of those noises compared to someone losing their life, getting hit, a dog getting hit, because I wake up to the speeding because I can hear the speeding. So the squeaks on from a bumper block probably wouldn't bother me. And the reason why I was bringing this back up again, because just this weekend and this past week, it seems like I've been in neighborhoods now where there are a lot of neighborhoods that are now putting down speed bumps, because it is that ridiculous. I'm afraid for people on Lathrup Boulevard. I couldn't even imagine what a straightaway is. And then the complaints that I'm seeing, and I see, but also saw the results of when someone was speeding down Lathrup. I think that the noise part is minor, and I really think that I'm agreeing with Dawn at this point where it needs to be looked into, at least for the temporary, because the deterrence, yes, we cannot have police at every intersection. That's not, I don't think that that's even, realistic to be able to do that. Or have the camera of what Dawn was saying and the speed showing you how fast you're going. But I bet you going over a speed bump will slow you down.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Scott's on vacation this week, Ringler. So I probably won't hear back from him by our next study session on Monday, but for the next meeting, I'll try to have something, see what his issue was with the temporary ones.
Okay,
And
and then
we could definitely take a look at that and perhaps even looking at the distinction between a speed bump and a speed hump.
right.
But I do want to also remind you that with each of these humps in the road, there are 2 signs associated with it on each side of the structures. So in someone's yard, there will be.
Is it
Fine.
easier, or is it, I don't know the difference. And I mean, I think if we're looking, we had an expert or somebody who'd done research come and talk to us about the deer and coyote problem. I mean, is there a road engineer who could talk to us about the benefits or the deterrence with a speed table? You know how the longer speed table versus a speed bump versus a removable. So, we wouldn't be speculating just on noise or damage to cars, but maybe we'd actually have some informed folks who could tell us more about, why communities choose which option.
Yeah, well, we were taking our information from our city engineer, who deals with this stuff. It's in his best interest for us to install them, and he recommended against them, but I will
I'll
talk to
reach
him and
out
see.
to our road commission, because our former Oakland County commissioner is now on the road commission, and it's kind of funny. She just texted me, and I'll ask her, does she know of someone that can fit that bill, Dawn, of what you were speaking about?
Yeah, and I'll ask Scott the same question.
If I may add, I don't know, I know Chief has talked to someone at TIA. There are traffic, I don't know what TIA stands for, but that's the name of their consulting
Traffic
firm.
Improvement Association.
There you go. Thank you. They might be able to provide that kind of analysis for us. I know that they're the ones that typically look at like the crossings at Southfield Road, and we had that discussion a while back of maybe closing one of those crossovers
Turnarounds.
on I almost said 59 on 696.
696.
So maybe TIA might be able to offer some insight on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I can give them a call. That's not a problem.
And
Thank
Scott, Chief Scott, so at the officer lunch last week, when they were doing the presentations, they were talking about why the officers don't like having, and the public safety don't like having the speed bumps. What exactly is the concern there from the police perspective?
I can't answer that, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what their thought process is. We haven't had that discussion. I mean, feedback that we've gotten was actually from Scott Ringler and about the degradation of the roads with people going over and bottoming out and the lifespan of the roads. Again, I'd have to defer and ask them what their thought process is, because I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I got another one. I think that was based if there was the need for response elsewhere in the city, and they need to, in case like the police, the fire department needed to haul butt to get somewhere.
True. I mean,
That's
yeah,
what
the
that
speed
was.
the speed of our reaction, if we really needed to get somewhere, it's definitely going to slow us down, or we're going to be doing damage to the scout cars going over them at a high rate of speed. That's correct.
That's what I was going to say, the wear and tear on our vehicles.
I would say the number of times that I've watched an ambulance, fire truck, or police officer go down Rainbow at a high rate of speed would be none. The number of times that I've seen people blow through those stop signs at very high rates of speed would probably be 5 or 6 times a day. So I think that, you know, there may be a trade-off there.
Agreed. Okay, well, we can beat that into the ground. I sent the text to find out if we can find someone from the road commission for if they might have some type of report on that. The chief is going to, she's going to check tomorrow about that. Chief is going to reach out to TSIA.
TIA.
Okay.
TIA.
And then Bruce, you'll reach out to Scott Ringler to get this, and then we can put this all, you know, come back and really have a true discussion that's not just with, you know, this is what I kind of heard. We can have some actual data behind it. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Anyone else have anything for the good of the council, good of the city?
Yeah, I've got a few things. The last couple Mondays, I've been out and about all day long on the roads. What I'm seeing is the same issue that with Tringali, that Southfield had with their trash vendor that was quite controversial, and they almost got rid of their trash vendor, and that's because of it. That's namely the vehicles, you know, either doing a zigzag pattern or going straight down the middle of the road and blocking the traffic on the road instead of staying to one side so that they can, you know, get the trash. I mean, for example, today twice I had to wait the entire length of a city block for them to do the entire block of trash on both sides before I could get by. And then a third time I actually just pulled in someone's driveway, backed out and went the other way and went around. They're not supposed to be doing that as far as I know from our contract. They're supposed to be going on one side and not blocking traffic. And they made absolutely no effort whatsoever, you know, when I was there, you know, when they knew that there were residents waiting, because it's something, one instance, there was a car or two behind me to get out of the way. So I think that's an issue. I'm hoping we can talk to Tringali about that, Cheryl. And is it in our contract that they're not supposed to be doing that?
I don't recall seeing that specific language, but I can ask. I did mention to them your previous recommendation in regards to having all of the items pulled to one side of the street. They thought that would be a bit problematic in our community because not everybody wants someone else's containers in front of their yards, and you know what happens if a third of the people don't do it, so you're still stuck with having to go on both sides. I also do want to mention that Tringali, as I understand it, is not going to be doing the branch chipping. I haven't heard of a date certain when that's going to go to a different contractor, but Sakura is going to be contracted with another agent, as I understand it, in regards to the Friday service for the chipping of the branches, which I also understand is going to shift over to Monday. So as soon as we get that finalized information, we'll be sending out the educational components to residents in regards to that as well.
Okay, well, can you maybe at our next study session, let us know what Tringali had to say if they respond quick enough to that, because that's a problem. Another question that I have, so one in the road recommendation that we made with the proposal back in 2020 that we approved as council, one of the things that we said that we would do, because we weren't, you know, because that proposal only covered 7 miles of road, and we've got 26 miles of road and associated ditches, is that we would go after the low-hanging fruit via code enforcement with respect to the ditches. I'm getting an earful about, you know, non-flowing ditches, and I can't even begin to tell you how many homeowners in the last 2 weeks I've walked their ditch line with them and have seen some very low-hanging fruit, like a tree root, a culvert that's blocked, a culvert that's heaved upwards, and so it prevents the water from flowing. And these are all things that we should be able to take care of via code enforcement. I know it's not a perfect solution like reconditioning the ditches, but one of the things that we again did have in the recommendation was that we would use code enforcement to identify this low hanging fruit for those streets that weren't included in the 7 miles of paving. So I was wondering if we could maybe have Rami work with Scott or Andy to get kind of up to speed and trained on what can and can't be done easily, and maybe, you know, as he's driving around, you know, looking for other things, which I know he does a lot because I bumped into him a lot in the last 2 weeks. But you know, he could be looking for that too, and you know, especially on rainy days, you know, he can, that's the best time to look, you know, when the ditches are backed up and you can look going, you can easily see that, oh, it's a root blocking it, or oh, you know, the culvert is heaved and it's not functioning. So wondering if we could task Rami to do that like we had approved in the proposal.
Okay.
And then the other thing I wanted to point out, which is actually good news, really good news. You know, I know when we were working on the road proposals, you know, we had a concern about, you know, obviously to do that, we had to raise taxes, and we were, you know, concerned in terms of what that would do to, you know, home sales and so forth in Lathrop. And in fact, the people who were against the proposals, you know, kind of used that, you know, as a tactic as well to, you know, as part of their argument against them. And the one thing that I found, you know, when I've been canvassing, you know, every resident that said they just moved here or they moved here recently, I've always asked them the question, you know, just out of curiosity, you know, when you were looking for a home, how much did the high taxes of Lathrop Village influence your decision? And to a T, I'm now at 21 people, and the answer to that question has always been no. And then the follow-up has always been that, you know, they get so much more home in Lathrop than they do in Birmingham or Beverly Hills and so forth. That the taxes just, it was the trade-off was a no-brainer. So that I think is really good news, because I know we had some concerns about what the increase to our already high taxes would be doing. So that was good. And then the other thing that I heard from a lot of people, and I've talked to a couple of realtors as well, is, you know, that the homes, not only are we not having a problem with residents wanting to move in here, but the homes are selling in, you know, they're averaging like a day to 2 days, if even that. So talked to one resident who tried 5 times to get into Lathrop, and all 5 times, you know, he responded within a day and a half, and the house was gone. But he did get into Lathrop, so that was good. He's renovating a house, and so I think all that's good news. I mean, we're getting new roads, and it's not having, you know, the detrimental effect to our being able to sell homes in Lathrop Village. So I think that's a good thing.
I agree with that. Totally.
Is there anything else? Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. It's moved in second. You all have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care, everyone.